Hello, my name's John Hemingway, and we need to talk about VETS. When we're answering the question, what is the role of a vet on a modern sheep farm, it all really boils down to one question that you have to ask yourself as the farmer, and that is, am I using the vet on my own terms? Let me give you some examples. If you've overfed your ewes during pregnancy and you're having to call the vet out to do a bunch of cesareans because you've got massive oversized single lambs, that's not using the vet on your terms. You had no choice but to call. The vet, from an economic point of view, is already trying to carry out damage limitation by the time that situation's occurred. I'll give you another one. Say you've underfed your ewes during pregnancy and you have to call the vet out because you're having a whole load of them go down with twin lamb disease. Again, that's not using the vet on your terms because you've had no choice but to call. The vet would do his best, but economically, you're in damage limitation again. A third example would be the farmer that calls the vet in the middle of summer to look at forage analysis and doing a ration and feed space and body condition scoring. That's the farmer that's not going to have those problems later on. He's used the vet on his own terms and got that input early on. He's going to avoid those problems. That's going to be money well spent. Now, all I'm doing here is asking you to look at vetting not as an emergency service, but in the same way that you'd look at a lot of other service providers. Let's take, for example, your car. We all know that the best thing to do is going to be to take your car every year to get a service. The service mechanic's going to look at it. He's going to change the pieces that need changing. He's going to advise you on things you might need to do in the next few months. As a result of that, your car's going to keep running as well as it can, and the likelihood of something going wrong is much, much lower. What I'm saying here is that you should be using your vet as the service mechanic, not the breakdown recovery service, metaphorically speaking. So, we want to be using the vet at routine, predetermined points of time throughout the year to do things like looking at your forage analysis and formulating a ration for your pregnant ewes, doing parasite management plans for worms and for fluke, screening for iceberg diseases, doing trace element and metabolic testing, essentially health planning. What we don't want to be using the vet for is things like fishing out rotten lambs from ewes at 3 o'clock in the morning because you've had an abortion storm. Essentially emergency work. Health planning, emergency work. Both are always going to exist, but the more health planning we can do, the less emergency work we should have to do. And it is far more effective to use your vet for this one than it is for this one. So doing as much health planning as possible in order to reduce the emergency work as far as possible. That is the role of the vet on the modern sheep farm. And in doing that, you will see an increase in your productivity, a reduction in your fixed cost and your losses, and an increase in overall farm profitability. I guarantee it. Now, I hope you enjoyed this short video. We'll have a new one coming along very soon. Hit subscribe. I hope that we'll see you there.